Alright, hey folks, Mad Rabbit here. Today we are going to be doing a short guide on how to build probably the best stealth characters you can. I would strongly suggest, seeing as how you have options, armory options now for 2 builds in-game, and there are also add-ons that let you do more saving your builds. Perhaps it's a good idea to do this not on just one, but maybe on multiple characters. So if you want to farm certain things, this is going to be like an introductory video to my new goal making playlist. I already have some farming guides in there, where to farm things. This is a stealth guide with a little bit of speed dashed in there. I have done, I think speed's an important second factor in this, but I didn't really do too much as far as speed goes. You can do this on a stamina build, a magic build, health build even, like a tanky type, but I personally think stamina build is better, medium armor is the best. I'm going to go into the skill lines, some that I consider to be pretty much mandatory, and the ones I consider to be somewhat optional. Take and pick what you want. I'm not forcing you into a specific build. You can adapt an existing build to this in case you want to occasionally farm, but still like the way your rotation is for your existing DPS, tank, healer classes. This playlist in the future is going to have looting routes for regular treasure chests that aren't considered stealing. This playlist is also going to have probably more stealing routes and assassination routes for the Blade of Woe. So to use the playlist well, you're going to probably want to have at least the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood, meaning you should probably go through those stories. That would mean you would probably need access to those 2 particular DLCs. I'll explain that in a few minutes. Alright, so today, Duraz, my Gajit, will be showing you some of this stuff. And he'll also have his friend, my Wood Elf. I call him Velocity, because he used to be like a stealth / speed build. Velocity. I specifically made him not to do any PvP, PvE, or anything. He was specifically for just pickpocketing, Blade of Woe, murder, and basically just causing havoc in the cities. Are you ready, Duraz? Meow, meow, meow. Yes, that's a yes in Gajit tongue. Another suggestion would be not to have your companions out when you do this, except Azandar. Yes, I would suggest Azandar for when you're looting containers, because there's a chance he may give you an optional research portfolio. You might find that in your amongst what you can steal. So you will get additional stuff by having Azandar out. Some of the companions are not okay with you stealing stuff. Some are okay with you stealing stuff, but they don't like getting caught. So I would only have Azandar as a companion when you do these things. I think, if I remember right, that's the Necron DLC he comes in. If I'm remembering right, I do have a video of that up where the quest starter is. I'm pretty sure it's in Apocrypha, and there's a way to get there through the city of Necrom itself. That Necrom is in the Telvanni Peninsula zone, so again, probably a good idea to have them. Let's get a little extra stuff from when you're looting containers and some of the things on these playlists, but that's just a suggestion. This is a required skill line if you're going to be doing any kind of stealth related stuff. The Ledger Domain skill line, all the passive abilities, get all of them. You can opt out of the locksmith one, which I do. I opt out of it because I don't mind a little mini game, but you feel like forcing locks. It might be quicker and easier for some people. I don't know. But all the other one you need, because you can reduce your bounties and all this stuff is important. The cost of sneak reduced. Light fingers, pickpocketing success goes up. I mean, it's all very important for a stealth build. The best way to level up this, as you can read the little tooltip, well, from fencing goods, but also from laundering goods. You get it also from pickpocketing, which is difficult to do when you're trying to level this up. Picking any locks, whether it be picking the locks of a door or a chest, lock boxes. I do plan on making a video at some point of a good chest, that's non-stealing chest farming route. But that will come around. I'll probably release that video in a few weeks. I would very strongly recommend the Thieves Guild skill line. You have to go with the Hughes Bane or the Thieves Guild DLC. Obviously, if you already own it, you're okay. But if you don't own it, you can get it through ESO Plus. You'll have access to that zone. Same thing with the Dark Brotherhood one, which I'll be mentioning in a few minutes. And you'll want to go do the storyline mode, the main storyline mode for the Thieves Guild there. It will help if you have Ledger Domain leveled up first before you did this, because there's obviously a lot of that's going to weigh heavily into this. All the passives here are very important. I would get all of them. There might be a few that you can do without, like Timely Escape if you're really struggling on maybe Clemency if you're really like low on skill points, but I would eventually get those. Honestly, I would get all of them. The Dark Brotherhood skill line, I would very strongly suggest getting all those also. That zone is the Gold Coast zone. That DLC again, same thing. You can get there through ESO Plus or owning the DLC outright. So you just go to the Gold Coast, and pretty early on you get the Blade of Woe, which is for all the basically assassination killing stuff you can do. Just an automatic kill from behind. That's the most important one. All these are really important. I would take all of them. If you are really struggling on skill points, you can maybe not take Shadowy Supplier. That's not so much important. Maybe Shadow Rider. But Shadow Rider's actually a really good one. So I don't know. I would take all of them. The one skill line, if you're subclassing, or if you are a Nightblade to begin with, out of all the skill lines you have to get Shadow from the Nightblade skill line. Mainly because you need Shadow Cloak and its morph, Shadowy Disguise. All the passives are going to be helpful too. I would take all of them. Everything else is negotiable. So as far as classes go, just having the Shadow one as one of your things, just because how good Shadowy Disguise is, it's almost a requirement for this sort of a build. If you ever find yourself with a bounty, this is why you want the ability to use Shadow Cloak. And you're outside of a city and I need to get into the city or whatever, for whatever reason, you can easily use Shadowy Disguise, stealth yourself, and just walk past the guards to get into the city. Alright, now on to champion points. We are almost going to be doing exclusively under the crafting, the green champion points. Fortune's Favor. You just get outright more gold from treasure chests and safe boxes. Gilded Fingers. Now these two are passives. Pretty much all the ones on the left side, Friends in Low Places, Infamous, Shadow Strike, Cat's Purse, Art, Fade Away. Those are all good. Some of them are socketable ones. They're not necessary. I would say if you had to sacrifice one, Shadow Strike's not that important. Fade Away is good. Friends in Low Places is good if you have to get the green socketable ones up for the top part. I would also suggest Homemaker, because if you're doing a lot of pickpocketing and you find furnishing plans, there's a 10% chance of getting a second one. Also Treasure Hunter. The quality of the stuff you're going to find in treasure chests would be a lot better. Pretty much all the things in here that are just passive, that aren't basically socketable at the top there, I would get all of those. Because like Fleet Phantom, Out of Sight, those are sneaking related. You could also take the Sustaining Shadows ones, reducing the cost of sneak by 1% per stage, but quite honestly, you're gonna get so much, and if you're doing a stamina build, you're not really gonna need it. So you can probably opt out of that. And as far as gold making goes, pretty much everything on here that saves you money is gonna be useful also, like the Wanderer, which is Way Shrine, making it cheaper for steadfast enchantments. Weapon enchantments aren't a lot. Might not consume a charge. All these things add up. Also for, you want to get professional upkeep. Again, cheaper armor repair, saving you gold. Increase movement speed out of combat. That's Steed's Blessing. If you need something sockable, you can put that in if you have half the points. Some of these might not be able to get all of them, but like I said, I would very strongly recommend the ones that are on the left side, but especially Fortune's Favor, Gilded Fingers, Homemaker, and then all the stuff on the left side would basically be after that. Then maybe Steed's Blessing. This is completely optional. I would take all the passives on this. the actual active abilities and ultimates don't matter so much. You'll want to get to stage 4 because the only reason to do this is for this last passive ability called Unnatural Movement. Stage 4 Vampire, you only get it when you're stage 4. So you're going to have a lot of massive penalties from being a stage 4 Vampire. Health recovery will be at a minus 100%. And obviously you'll be taking some more damage from Flame, and some of your ability costs will cost a little more, and Vampire abilities will cost a little less, but those don't matter so much. But the health recovery is going to be a big thing, and you're not also going to be able to speak to some vendors. Not all vendors, but some vendors won't talk to you. So you won't be able to sell stuff and repair through the vendors sometimes. But the biggest thing that you want to get from this is Unnatural Movement, which is the last passive ability on the list, which requires being stage 4. So you will have to get a running start to get into invisibility. It only works when you're sprinting. So you'll be invisible, so you can actually run by guards and everything. Strike from the Shadows is also really good. Alright, this will be my highest recommendation as far as race goes, Khajiit, without a doubt. Because it specifically has higher pickpocket chance for Cap Purse, and as well as Feline Ambush is very good, decreasing your stealth detection radius 3 more meters. So let's say you do take some of my suggestions later on for some of the sets. Feline Ambush would be very good at reducing your possibility of being detected by a lot. So I would take all those passives anyway, but Cap Purse and Feline Ambush in particular. I would strongly suggest the Medium Armor skill line. The medium armor bonuses that you get for each piece of medium armor worn, which is why I suggest probably doing at least a 5-piece set, maybe all pieces, because it reduces the cost of sneak, reduces the cost of sprint, reduces the cost of sneak even further with the improved sneak passive, and athletics is good just for the speed. So I would suggest if you're going to dedicate yourself to that line, do at least a 5-piece set. And probably all the passives. I wouldn't skimp. Alright, this is just an optional skill line for the Wood Elf skill line. If you decide not to do Khajiit, which I strongly suggest you do Khajiit for this, but you can do it with any race. But this probably the second best one might be the Wood Elf one, just because of the stamina recovery and the Hunter's Eye passive, the passive racial lines. Stamina recovery and the stealth detection is not really too much important, but the movement speed is pretty good. So that's a pretty good backup secondary. Like if you weren't going to do Khajiit, then Wood Elf ain't too bad. Okay, these are suggested sets. I'm going to give you 2 suggested sets. This is optional. You could probably still keep a regular build and not get these sets, but they're fairly easy to farm because they're in base game zones and they directly affect sneaking. First one is from the zone of Dishan. Night Mother's Embrace. It's a medium armor set. So again, talking about medium armor, I would very strongly suggest getting this set, mainly because the 5-piece bonus you get, sneaking reduced, and the cost of sneak is reduced. You're really not going to, after doing most of these, you're not going to be paying any stamina charge for sneaking anyway, so it becomes less important. But Night Mother's Embrace and the set called Night Terror, which is in the zone of Stormhaven. Now you really only need the 3-piece set for this, because this basically does almost the same thing as the 5-piece from the Shan, the Night Mother's Embrace. So if you look at the 3-piece for Night Terror, it does almost the same thing, reduces the sneak cost more. It's also a medium set. And for Dishan and Stormhaven, if you decide to farm these sets rather than buying them off the guild traders, I would suggest going to the dolmens, just bouncing back and forth between them. Stormhaven's dolmens are kind of like a couple, one of them's in the really out of the way area, so maybe not do it for Stormhaven, but the Shan, it should be pretty easy. Also, you can just run around the zone looking for the regular chests that you find out in the wilderness. You'll have to have some lockpicks for those. Just keep lockpicking. And eventually, they usually drops the sets from those zones in those chests. And that's probably the best way to get it if you're not willing to spend the money. All right, I want to talk about proper etiquette when it comes to all these sorts of things. Particularly if you're farming chests, safe boxes, thieves' troves, and if you're doing any sort of pickpocketing or Blade of Woe stuff, don't be a dickhead. Don't be an ass hat, okay? Don't be an ass hat. Pickpocket 2 times. Don't pickpocket all 3 times. And then use the Blade of Woe. That resets them. So if you want to do pickpocket once, you could do that also. Pickpocket once, then Blade of Woe, or pickpocket twice, Blade of Woe. Do not pickpocket them 3 times, because you want to reset them. And for other people that come along and they look and they go and they try and pickpocket them, they'll see, oh, this guy's empty. You have to reset them. Don't be an asshat. Reset them properly. Assassinate the person. You know, it's the Christian thing to do. Okay, just make sure you reset it properly. If you're looting containers, do not leave one item in there. Like, oh, I don't want this one item because I'm out of space in my inventory. So I'm going to leave these lockpicks in there or whatever. Oh, I just don't want this. I'm going to leave it in there. It needs to reset, you dumb shit. The next person that comes along is going to see just nothing in there but a lockpick that you left behind. And you're actually hurting yourself in the long run because these things need to reset. So completely loot these freaking things. So, all right? Don't do that. Don't be a piece of crap.
In this reporter's opinion, a true piece of human garbage.
All right, if you find yourself with a bounty, you have these counterfeit pardons, these counterfeit pardon edicts that you'll find in your inventory. Sometimes you get them from some of these different things like pickpocketing and treasure thieves, the thieves' troves, amongst other things. Save these things because they can actually get rid of your bounty. I wouldn't use them all the time if you could just have a small bounty. But if you're getting a large bounty, you just want to like log out for the day and go into the city, and you've been out there farming or whatever, just use it. My main guy who does most of my stealth stuff has like hundreds of these things. Best way to just get rid of it, save yourself some troubles. Okay, I'm just going to leave it here, guys. I had a much larger list, but this is enough to start with. This is the basics of, particularly if you're new to ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, and stealth, and making money that way. I don't know. Hopefully this will help you. Cherry pick what you can use. Leave more suggestions in the comments below. Obviously there's a lot more I could have gone into. I didn't go into all the speed related champion points and skills and using like mythic items such as the Ring of the Wild Hunt, which will also increase your speed. But I just wanted to keep it short. So, catch you in the next video, guys. Adios.